going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us, of course, on Northern Life today. Ryan, today was a first for you.
It was a first.
Talk about what happened here.
Yeah, so if you see me just staring off into the distance, it's because my body's still in pain. But we had a wonderful morning. Hunter, for a blindfold shoot, brought me to Spirit Mountain, where I got to ski for the very first time as a human. It was a lot of fun. We had an awesome instructor, Lily. Shout out to her at Spirit Mountain.
Yes.
But man, my feet were tingling after. My knees are on fire right now. My quads are on fire. It was a lot of fun, but it's something you have to get used to.
Yes, I'm literally walking on Jell-O right now. Like I feel like I have to lift my leg for every single move that I move. I mean, it's been a day so far.
Yeah.
We're tired, but we're into it. We're into it on this Thursday.
We're into it.
We're feeling good.
Yep. And we got out of the vehicle, and we were the steam was coming off of us too.
I forgot about that.
We were joking like how I look like a hot dog in the canister. They pull them out of the hot water. A lot of steam coming up.
Just covered in sweat.
Yeah, but a lot of fun. So
Yep.
big thanks to them. We'll have that story coming up later on Northern Life in the future. Hey, after the holiday season, we had a great time meeting some of you outside Duluth's Mount Royal Mark, and we were bell ringing, filling the red kettle with the Salvation Army here in Duluth. And guess what? During that Media Week ring-off, we came in second place for the contest, right behind
Whoa.
our friends and Hunter's other employer at Midwest Communications. In total, our Northland Media members raised more than $3,200 thanks to the generosity of all you viewers at home.
That is fantastic, and dang it, Midwest Communications for beating us. We should have had them, but you know that's all right. It's all for a good cause.
We're looking at you next year, Jason Manning.
Yeah, we're gonna take you on. Square up, Jason. Let's go.
Jason and Scott, yep.
Yeah, Jason, Scott, Bruce, let's go. Come on. Coming up today on Northern Life, of course, it's been a story you've been waiting for, or not, I don't know. We're sharing the full story of the man whose tattoo is one of a kind. We even hear the reaction from the Wisconsin meteorologist who will forever be on his arm in association with a meat tornado, if you remember from the story.
Yeah. So we get to share the whole thing now. Maybe you'll enjoy it, maybe you won't. I don't know. And then later, a sweet story from Osseo, Wisconsin, involving a paraprofessional. I'm still without words after that meat tornado. Who went above and beyond to bundle up her students. Plus, I'll be sharing another first for me as we dream about the summer season. Until then, it's Thursday. Excuse me. Let's get to some oh yeah or oh heck no. It is a question I found on the Today Show's website. Hunter, should adult kids be paying for their parents when they're out to dinner? So etiquette expert Elaine Swan was happy to provide her 2 cents. Her recommendation is for the adult child to treat the parents if they're able to do so, as it is a kind gesture. However, Swan says parents take joy in footing the bill, and if that's the case, you don't want to take that away from them. So Hunter, should adult kids be footing the bill with parents going out to dinner? Oh yeah or oh heck no?
Oh my gosh, I would say it's basically it's a case-by-case basis, whatever you feel. I know that I can't do it all the time. They do so much for me, my parents. And I can't always give back to them what they do to me. And so every once in a while, it's nice to buy them a meal. So when we go out, for sure for birthdays and things like that, but also just randomly, it's fun to buy them a meal every once in a while. I don't do it as often as I should, but I definitely want to do that more.
I agree it is a case-by-case basis. Growing up, my grandfather would always say, if they had all his kids around and the grandkids, he would say, like, you better not be buying this. This is on me. So I think it's case by case. I'll say, every once in a while.
Sure. I know my parents always joke around. They're like, we could be touring around Europe right now if you kids weren't around. And I'm like, I didn't ask to be born, Mom and Dad. Come on.
My cousin's husband one time was saying that he could afford like 2 or 3 houses, but he has to pay for daycare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shout out to the parents out there.
Yep,
Shout out to the McCulloughs.
Amen.
Hey, this Friday, Hunter and I are going ice fishing with Dan Wolf and Adam Lords. Unfortunately, no one was hurt when a pickup pulling a fish house fell through the ice in Douglas County, Minnesota. The sheriff's office saying that incident happened Tuesday on Lake Mary. Our director, Shania, joking, you can't park there, good sir. The 40-year-old driver of Alexandria was safe, got out of the vehicle. The ice was about 3 or 4 inches thick. It sounds like there was a problem in that certain spot of the lake. But Hunter, are you a big ice driver when you go ice fishing? Oh yeah or oh heck no?
Boy, it's not an oh yeah for sure, but it's definitely, you gotta be sure what you're doing when you go out there and know that it's always a risk, no matter what you do, no matter how late in the season it is, no matter how cold it's been. I usually only go out when it has been cold for a long time and I've dug a couple holes and know that it's well thick enough to go on out there. And then you gotta make sure you roll down the windows. I'd like to unbuckle my seatbelt in case I have to quickly get out, but you never know 100%. But would you ever do that, Ryan?
I don't think I ever would. My dad, who grew up in Western New York, said the first time he was in Minnesota, somebody said, let's drive out on the lake together. He's like, What do you mean?
There's water. You can't do that.
Yeah. If it's been like below zero for a number of days, I feel like it'd probably be more comfortable.
Yes.
But the winter we've had so far, where it's been a little warmer some days.
Up and down. I'll tell you what's a wild sight is going on in one of these big lakes and looking at all the vehicles and all the ice houses that are out there for miles and miles. It's like, how can this lake support all of that? But it does somehow.
I wonder if people up here, in the Northland, use that as the learning how to drive. It's like a big parking lot.
Oh,
you know?
interesting.
I don't
You're
know.
right. You're not going to crash into anything unless there's another car
a lot
by
of
you.
open space.
It is. That's actually a good point right there.
Head out to Lake Mille Lacs and to our west.
Tear
and
it
see
up.
what happens. Yeah. Well, it's the beginning of Girl Scout cookie season for us, thankfully. But the end is near, sadly, for two flavors. The Girl Scouts of the USA announced that s'mores and toast yay cookies will be discontinued after this year.
Wow.
The organization, to give a reason for retiring those cookies, the s'mores debuted back in 2017. The French toast-inspired cookies rolled out in 2021. Hunter, will you be missing these flavors? Oh yeah or oh heck no?
I can't miss what I've never had before. I have not had either of those flavors. I always go with the caramel with the, what's the
Caramel
stuff?
Delights?
The coconut ones. I forget what those, it's something like that. I forget what it is, but they're really good. But I have not tried those two yet, and I probably need to try them before they go away.
I'm actually just a big fan of the shortbread cookies that they have.
Those
I
are
love
classic.
the basic cookies.
Wow.
Pillsbury has those basic cookies that I had to make before they went bad, and they said on the package, it says you can eat them without even having to bake them.
Oh, really?
So I did that the other night.
How'd that go?
It was delicious.
You sound like my grandma. Her favorite is like the Lorna Dunes.
I'm old. Hey, coming up, the moment we've been waiting for, we'll share that full meat tornado story next.
Okay, I think we both are more excited than anybody else about seeing this package. I'm really excited to see this story.
If you're watching us on YouTube later, you can probably just, grab that little bar below and just scrub like
The next
3
5
minutes.
minutes. Is it 3 minutes?
That's about 2:40, I think. So
Oh my gosh.
Get ready.
Well,
Yep.
listen, earlier this week we brought you the story of the Wisconsin man who took his fandom of his local TV news station to the next level.
Tim Elliott introduces us to the DeForest, Wisconsin man who's in love with meteorology.
On his deck in DeForest,
Doesn't that look good?
John Stone loves the sound of the sizzle.
This is the Traeger Ironwood 885. This is what I do most of my smoking on. Right here we have 7 pounds of pork butt, and it's the Show Me the Honey recipe.
He's a grilling and smoking meat aficionado.
Looking good, about 170, right where we need it.
Another interest of his, the weather.
I've been an amateur meteorologist, storm chaser, for the last 10 years or so.
And in 2019, Stone decided to combine his affinity for meat and meteorology with a tattoo featuring his favorite meteorologist, Charlie Shortino.
I like wordplay, and I thought, well, meat is in meteorology. It's just a few letters off. Let's make something with this. And it's the state of Wisconsin with Charlie's gesturing here towards Madison with a meat tornado. So there you go, different cuts of meat in the entire state of Wisconsin. And this is an homage to Charlie Shortino.
Stone's tattoo is certainly a conversation starter.
Getting your COVID booster or your flu shot, when they look and they're like, wow, what is that? It's a tornado made of meat. That's what it is. Don't be surprised.
And his wife, Amy, is a fan.
I think it's awesome. He's not boring, I'll tell you that. He is not boring. This man keeps me on my toes.
Do you think Charlie's gonna be weirded out, or will he want to have a beer with me?
We surprised Charlie on the morning show on Thursday with news of this tattoo.
John, I'm flattered, I guess.
It's a great birthday
Yes,
gift, isn't it?
it is. I'm glad it's on his arm.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm glad you like it. He was
Yeah.
very nervous what you would think about it, but it sounds like you're a fan.
It looks relatively new, so
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. He's the only person I know who's got a tattoo of me.
This tattoo is here to stay.
I love the tattoos that are silly.
So is his love for cooking
Poppers are done, you ready to eat? Oh yeah.
and his loyalty to WMTV 15 News.
I just love your guys' work, and your boss should give you a raise.
In DeForest, Tim Elliott, WMTV 15 News.
I
it's like a good gig for the reporter there. Got
Yes.
some food and, got the, you guys should get a raise type thing.
Oh,
yeah.
that food looked amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know they surprised the meteorologist with watching the package, the story.
He's happy, I guess, or
Yes.
whatever he said.
Okay, what would you do if someone that you knew or didn't know out in the world out there got a tattoo of you on their arm?
I think I'd have to like thank that person for the rest of my life. you know?
Honestly,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
quite the experience, quite the homage. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
I feel like you've made it. in
Yeah,
life
I'm like-
if you're on TV and someone gets a tattoo of you. Yeah.
I'm not that cool. Why would you put me on your arm? That's but
Apparently,
it's cool.
Charlie Shortino is.
Yes,
So,
apparently he is. We got to
if
meet.
you're in the area, WMTV News.
Got to
Yeah.
meet Mr. Shortino
Yeah.
at some point in time. Staying in Wisconsin, our winters are filled with all kinds of events, such as skiing or ice fishing. But where did these traditions begin?
Christopher Bushong shares more on the history of the snowmobile, speaking with the granddaughter of the man who invented it.
All inventions have to start somewhere, and for the popular snowmobile, it began in a town called Saner. Jonah Elison is the granddaughter of Carl Elison, the man that created the first snowmobile.
He had a club foot, so he was a disabled man, and he couldn't go out into the woods like everybody else.
But that wasn't going to stop Carl. He tried all the available equipment, but nothing seemed to be what he was looking for.
So he set out to build it, and it just so happens that he purchased a store here in Saner, and with that store came a bunch of materials, crude materials that he could use to fabricate a snowmobile.
After a few years of working on the design and making refinements, the machine was ready for snow, and people couldn't believe how well it worked, so he decided to patent it.
And he did the patent searches and everything needed at that time. And what he came up with was nobody else had made anything like this. So he got a patent in 1927.
While it took some time for the snowmobile to become popular, Elison can say she was one of the first fans of riding.
I grew up on his snowmobiles. The first machine I got was came from the gas station across the street from my Uncle Leonard, and that was a used Polaris Playmate, and you couldn't get me off of it.
Millions of people hit the trail each year, an activity families consider a winter tradition. This year, the Saner community is remembering Carl by naming a snowmobile trail after him.
For having the first snowmobile trail anywhere 100 years ago. So these trails that we see in Saner are the trails that he used to run his machines on 100 years ago.
Very, very cool. Always cool. A couple local bars around here do the vintage snowmobile run and
Yeah.
seeing all the snowmobiles throughout the years. Very
100
cool.
years of snowmobiling out there in Saner. That's good stuff. Well, hey, still ahead. Bundles of joy. Get bundled up with joy. Thanks for being here on Northern Lights. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Also, I have never driven on a snowmobile before, so if anybody out there has got access to a snowmobile and has enough snow where you live,
That's true.
Maybe send us an invite. We'd love to do a story, and I just knocked over everything on
That's
this test,
okay.
so.
Hey,
But hey, I've never driven a motorcycle either, snowmobile.
Whoa.
But it's a lot of firsts for me, this past year.
It's the Northland. It's what it's all about, baby. Now, hopefully, we can get some more snow, like
Yeah,
you said, and we
that'd
can
be nice.
actually get out there on some snowmobiles.
Hey, more exciting news. First for me, it is a Duluth tradition that I've never done until this summer. I just got my tickets to the Trampled by Turtles concert coming to Bayfront Festival Park here in Duluth on July 5th. I've never seen them in concert. I know a lot of people look forward to their summer show. It's a true Duluth tradition by the water. You can actually find their tickets at trampledbyturtles.com.
Do you know who would have a lot to say about this, Ryan?
Who?
Briggs LaSavage. I think
True.
she's gone like 15
True.
years in a row. It hasn't been going for 15 years, but she's gone many years in a row.
Yeah.
She loves that
Yeah.
show. It's a huge tradition.
Natalie
for her.
Grant, our former
Natalie
co-worker, loves Trampled by Turtles.
And she did live out in Washington for a little bit. She came back here to watch Trampled by Turtles. I think it was last summer or something
Yeah.
like that. So pretty darn cool. I also have not seen Trampled by
Whoa,
Turtles. So
get your tickets.
I should probably go with it. That'd be-
Trampledbyturtles.com.
Oh, that'd be pretty darn cool. Bring it on. Summer can't come soon enough.
July
Let's go.
5th, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's going to come quicker than we think. But imagine the imagination of kids is vast, and one paraprofessional in Osseo, Wisconsin, is using her crochet skills to make hats for her students. Kim Leadholm and photojournalist Jeff Ralph have the story.
Made with love. It's a saying we've all heard.
When I was laid up, I started watching YouTube videos and taught myself how to crochet. It was something to keep my hands busy.
And Kimmy Horn, a paraprofessional with the Osseo Fairchild School District, kept her hands busy to gift her students with something special.
A hat.
Something made with love.
Miss Kimmy made it.
Printed out blank stocking hats and gave them to each of the kids. I said you can pick 3 colors, then just let them have creative control and just go for it.
And with that creative control, Miss Kimmy helped the kids create something amazing.
Yeah, but on the other side, there's no spot of blue.
A unique hat to represent them.
It gave me like a little bit of time where I was like almost like with the kid, like one-on-one time like with them. I see what they're drawing and it really is their personality, how they colored it in.
Whether the hat is mainly solid colors or full of spunk, it's special because it shows the students anything is possible.
Learning isn't just numbers and letters, like there are other lessons in there and just really instilling that confidence in them. Everything you imagine can become a reality.
Everything, even a hat that started as a piece of paper.
Knowing that what they can do, like can actually become real, like can just help with their learning throughout the years and just makes them so excited.
Hats and gloves can easily be lost. But at the Osseo Fairchild School District, there's some extra special hats.
This hat because Miss Kimmy made it.
Keeping heads and hearts warm.
This is the best day ever.
What a special day for those kids.
That's so sweet. It must have taken forever, especially those hats with the multiple colors on them. That is very cool.
It sounds like she was working starting in October and made the rush, over the holiday break. But
Wow.
that's a lot of work. So shout out to you, Miss Kimmy.
Very, very cool.
Over there in Osseo.
My favorite was the one that was all spotted. The very end, that kid with the one.
I don't know how you do that.
Honestly.
I know we've done something similar to that here on this show, but
Yes.
yeah, that takes a lot of craft and skill.
Briggs was also a fan of that when we did that, so maybe we got to get her on that.
We might have to get her on that. Well, hey, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about what's coming up on tomorrow's show, plus an important reminder for those getting mail today.
Welcome back, folks. Tonight on Northern News Now, of course, you can find more coverage from the state funeral of former President Jimmy Carter during our evening newscast. Also, just so you're aware, since the president declared today a national day of mourning, the U.S. Postal Service won't be delivering mail today. Government offices are also closed. So don't be sending us any packages today. Don't go out to the mailbox expecting any mail. They're enclosed in honor of Jimmy Carter, of course.
Yeah, find that coverage on our evening newscast. And hey, tomorrow, we're going to get you ready for the start of the NFL playoffs. We'll be hearing about the Packers who are getting ready to head to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. We're also going to have some football fun here on Northern Life.
Oh, I like football fun. I like alliteration, too.
And then how about the Vikings have to play on Monday night?
Oh, that's going to be crazy.
That's going to be crazy.
I'll
Hey.
have to take extra pressure pills for that.
My heart can't take it anymore.
know, right?
Before we go today, the Michigan State Police are seeking volunteers who are willing to be arrested. They need people to help act out other scenarios with trooper recruits as part of their training before becoming part of the statewide force. Members of the public can get arrested and apply through January 15th to be a part of that program.
As long as you don't get tased, that would be okay. Also, I smell another blindfolded that works.
I've told our executive producer before, it might be cool to get tased once.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
In a controlled setting. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. We hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.
Find some time to throw a line or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern Life.